Thank you, Devin. And have you ever gotten sick after getting the flu shot? Well, one theory for that is based on the principle of pathogenic priming. And here to tell us a bit more about this is Nurse Christina Pears. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Hi, good morning.
Yeah, always good to see you bright and early on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
So we're talking a little bit about pathogenic priming. What exactly is it?
So, okay, first I have to say this is kind of complicated. It's kind of a complicated topic, but I found it very interesting. I also want to give the disclaimer that that the topics that I talk about here are purely really educational and for entertainment. It should never replace going and seeing your doctor if you have any questions.
Right.
But that being said, okay, so let's dive in a little bit. So a pathogen, or pathos, means to suffer. And then we have gens or genes, which is the producer of. So the produces suffering. No, it does, but it's usually like a germ. It's basically what it is. And then pathogenicity is the capacity for pathogens. So some pathogens, so some bad things, germs that make us sick, are bacterial, viral, fungal, and parasites. So some things like meningitis can come in all varieties of those.
Oh, goody.
I know. And then some things like cholera only come in a small variety of cholera, thank goodness to us. And then some people have immunocompromised, or they have a low immune system and are more susceptible to getting sick. Priming means to influence or stimulate something to occur. So basically, pathogenic priming refers to a phenomenon where exposure to a pathogen, such as maybe a vaccine, causes the immune system to react in a exaggerated response.
So a lot of the times, I suppose it's probably good to get into the process of what do vaccines do to help people, and how does that relate to pathogenic priming? Because I'm imagining that's the negative side for the very few.
Right, right. So when we talk about vaccines are either live vaccines. There's very few of those. I think MMR is one of them. Or they're a killed form of the virus, or it's just a segment of that pathogen. So like you pull off the legs of a spider and it would just be that part. But vaccines work to stimulate our body so that we recognize. So if we're exposed to that virus or bacteria or whatever, again, our bodies will go, ooh, that's something bad. We should fight against it. Sometimes what happens, though, is that different things that are in vaccines cause a more exaggerated and kind of an overkill of a response. So we get sick, or more sick than we should. So instead of, for example, if you got the flu shot, instead of now when you're exposed to the flu, your body fights it off, you never get sick. Instead, your body thinks that it just fights even more. So it makes you more sick than you should. Now, I'm not saying that the flu vaccine does this. It actually happened more with RSV, which they have now corrected, and it doesn't happen anymore. But people were getting the shot and actually getting more sick with RSV than they should have, instead of not getting sick at all. So
they're always trying to find that right balance they want to expose you enough to have that natural immunity and build you up so you don't have the flu or some other disease. But they don't want to give you too much or too little that your body goes, whoa, let's overkill this one.
Right. And in vaccines, I mean, there are a lot of other things that they put in vaccines. There's aluminum. They have things like neomycin, potassium, yeast, egg proteins. So that's why if you're getting a vaccine, always tell your doctor if you have an allergy to anything, because it could be a substance that's in that vaccine. Now, also, pathogenic priming to some is a non-term, like it doesn't really exist. It really is antibody-mediated enhanced disease. So it really has a different term than pathogenic priming. But anyway, I don't not encourage people to get vaccines. You should get vaccines. They do help. If you are somebody who gets vaccines, such as the flu shot, and you do seem like you get sick every time you get it, there really might be something to it. So it's not that you're getting the flu necessarily, but it might be weakening your immune system so that if you're exposed to something else or a strain of the flu that's not in the flu shot, you could potentially be getting sick.
Well, there you go. You know, I know it's always good to be up to date on your health and, you know, just being aware and conscious of it. And of course, always going to provider when you have any questions.
Absolutely, absolutely. And, you know, they've made a lot of steps and they do a lot of studies for these vaccines too before they give them out. But, yeah, ever have questions, talk to your doctor about the pros and cons.
I'm sure they'll be very happy to chat with you about it.
Yes.
Well, thanks for coming on in this morning. As always, a pleasure to discuss anything going on health-wise in the Northwoods with you.
Thanks.
All right. Well, coming up after the break, we'll have your What's Trending. Stay with us. We'll be right back.